Welcome, everyone watching and listening. Today, we're going to discuss the purposeful life, how to find meaning and achieving your goals. So, whether you're feeling lost, nothing is working in your life, you're lacking motivation, you're wondering what is going on with me, or what is it that I'm not doing right, and you are lost wandering in this game called life, this episode is for you. So, without going into wasting of time, let's dive in and see what is purpose, what is the meaning of life, and how do you achieve your goals. So, let's define and actually come to an understanding of what is purpose. Because purpose is this word that actually you've heard of it, and actually you've actually listened to it, and it has passed through your ears a lot of times. It's the word that's very, very common in the English language. So, what is purpose? So, without going into fancy and more hard definitions that you can find on the internet or you can find when you look through the dictionary, let's first of all go to the base. Spoken to you, or when you listen the word purpose, what is it that it communicates to you? What is it that you listen? What comes to your mind? So when I listen the word purpose, something come to mind, or something should come to your mind. That is the meaning. So the purpose of life, or your purpose, is your meaning in this life. So what is your meaning of life? What is your meaning of existence? What is it that drives you? What is it that makes you wake up every morning, go and do what you do? What is it that keeps you alive, that keeps you going into your everyday activity? What is that motivation? What is that drive? Do you have it, or do you like it? Now, truth to be told, that majority of people actually lack this inspiration, this purpose, this desire, this drive. They're living, they're surviving through this life, but they're actually lacking purpose. Now, you can ask me, what is the meaning of life? Does actually life have a meaning? So this question has actually puzzled philosophers, the great, great philosophers from Plato to Aristotle to actually philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche to coming to today. Everyone is facing through this question. What is the meaningful of life? Is there a meaningful of life? Do you just live another day comes, just living till you wait the day you die, and that's all? Or there is something that you're put here on this earth to do, to accomplish as a person? So what is it? What is the meaning of life to you? So that's what you're gonna start of all to uncover, because instead of actually going and actually recognizing what is going on, and we find solutions, and we find what is it that we need to do, and how do we derive this meaning of life, you find ourselves trying to distract ourselves from actually coming to the conclusion of this problem. This problem is a very hard problem, and actually, as I've said, it has puzzled great philosophers from the beginning. Now, how do you derive the meaning of life? Now, most people think that the meaning of life is actually through the satisfaction of the self, your desires, your pleasures, whatever arouses you, whatever gives you drive. But I beg to differ, and I beg to disagree that the meaningful of life is not just some hedonistic pleasure hidden in a form of play, and that's all, and there is nothing more about it. So the meaning of life is the pursuit of truth. So what is truth? And is there something that exists in the world such as truth, and where can we find the truth? So now, to understand this, we need to go back and actually look through science. You see, what science actually does, you have a hypothesis of the world, and you are testing it, and the more you test it to uncover if your hypothesis is right and if your hypothesis is deep. So you need to actually go into depth. So the truth is the deep meaning of something that is a fact, that is true. So when you look into the meaning of life, you're looking to that which is true to you, that which comes to life and that way that life communicates to you. So, what is your truth? What is the lens you view life from? What is your perceptive of your life? What is your perception you use to derive the meaning of life? That is your truth. So, you can tell me, my truth is, oh, I tend to see everything in the lens of psychology, in the lens of science. I base my truth into the lens of, wokeism. So, you know, no judgment, but that is your truth. That is the way you view of life. But is there a way that is optimum to view the world in? So there is no formula to actually come to the truth of life, but there is a way to come to the truth and the meaning of life. So you need to dive deep into your life, dive deep and knowing and incorporate the part and the desires and the things that you are scared of and actually try to discover more of who you are. The problem is today, in the today's world, you find most people actually are distracted. Most people distract themselves and they are drifting to knowing their purpose. They're drifting from recognition of the meaning of life. So now you let someone else define the meaning of life. And because of the meaning of life is actually something that's very big and complex, you find that some people, because this question is actually a very big and complex question, and these people you find that they are very low in verbal intelligence, so with meaning that they they are not good, with representation and representing their view of the world and their meaning and their truth, then they just simplify and give a simplification or a word. They give it a symbol, meaning that it simplifies everything and gives an answer to that. When it's something that's big and complex, you uncover as you go on through life and you keep on discovering about you. Now, this is where you find that we've drifted and actually we've gone away from the meaning of life. When you see now we have people and we have this wokeism propaganda that's going on, that the oppressor oppressed narrative and the identity politics, the your worth as a person is not by character or who you are as a person, but the sex or your sexual orientation, the race you identify with, which is a very cheap thing to do. I'm telling you, a very cheap thing to view the world and actually classify people into. And you find that you are going against discrimination, yet you are doing the same thing that you say you stand against, which is what? Discrimination. So what is the meaning of life? So now for you, you need to go and actually find the meaning of life. Now, to do that, before this podcast end, I will give you the steps on how to find this meaning of your life, on how, the actual things you need to do to actually discover your truth in this life. Not let anyone choose for you what's true, but discovering your truth. What is truth in your life? What is true? And how did you come up to it? And how do you think? And why do you think the way you think? And how did you come back to? How did you come about to it? So now, another question is, how can I find my purpose? And how can I figure out what I want to do with my life? Now, what I've seen in this world is that everyone is so selfish. Everyone is looking for his own need. Not that looking out into the self is bad, but you find that people don't understand what is the purpose of this life. What is the major point of having a purpose, and what is the major point you're existing in this world? Now, I have bad news for you today is that the reason for existing, then the reason that the purpose exists is to satisfy what we call service. So the meaning of life is not derived as they will tell you in the media, and actually they will tell you everywhere. And these people from the left, they are giving you this idea of the meaning of life and how you find it into going there and actually classify people and giving you all this fake purpose. The real purpose is found in actually serving, in doing something for someone. That is the point of purpose, and the reason that you exist in this world is for you to provide your unique capability, your unique quality that you have to this world. So you need to offer it. And you find that the sad thing is that majority of people get to live, but they're surviving. They're not actually living through life. And you find that majority of people don't actually live to actually find their purpose. How sad is it? Because I've heard of this great saying, which is actually true, that the richest place on this earth is not the bank, it's actually the graves. Why? Because there is so much potential that's untapped, so much potential that's uncovered, that was not uncovered. Why? Lots of reason. There was destruction. There was thinking that, oh, I won't actually, I'll just choose to ignore, and there is nothing. If I don't know, it's good. But whether you know, whether you don't know, you still have to pay a price, and you still have to take off the consequences. The world, I have bad news, is that the world doesn't care about your morals. And actually, if you see that, you think that by you becoming good, by becoming what the society needs you to be and says you should be, will give you a moral standing up in the hierarchy, which is actually true. That you will find you you be stable in the hierarchy, and you, because of your moral grounds and everything, so you'll be stable in the social hierarchy. That's what you tell yourself. But the reality is, yes, you will get to that. But now there is a trick to that. Now, what will come is that you are not going to realize the other side of the coin, which is what? You will not get to uncover what is it that you can actually be, what is it that you're meant to be, who you're meant to be, and what is it that you're supposed to do. So, because of that, you will live your life, and you will end up not have uncovered the beauty of life, the beauty of service, the beauty of standing up to what you believe is true, and the beauty of uncovering and finding your meaning and your truth in this life. Now, how do you find purpose in life? So different from what you've been told, that you yourself, you are free to do what you are free to do what you want, which is true. But what you call freedom is an illusion. In some sense, if you see, there is no freedom, and the reason that there exists something like purpose is the reason that there exists something like purpose is for you to find freedom, is for you to be free. So purpose is freeing in itself. So you get freed when you discover your purpose. Doesn't mean that you are a slave before purpose, but when you live through life, look like, I want you to dig deep in your life. Look whatever that you do, look whatever you want to do. You see, like, you're working hard, you're doing education, you're doing all these things. You want to be a better person, you want to be a good person, you want to provide, you want to actually be good and actually be successful in some sense, and actually do something that you will stand for and will make you a better person. That is actually good, and that's actually something to upload to. But now, that's not all the list. That's the news I have for you today, is that that's not all. There is more to that. And now, compared to what you've been told, that you're free, you get freedom through working. You work to be free and all this. Freedom, you will never experience and actually be free until you have uncovered your purpose, and have uncovered the truth and the true meaning of your life to you. So now, that is why you need to find purpose. And now, how do you find it? You need to start treating yourself as a community. Now, what do I mean is that, yes, you are the self, you are you, but now start thinking yourself in terms of responsibilities, because purpose is all about being responsible. Part of is growing up. Now, you've seen that the world we live in, that everyone is so self-absorbed that no one is actually doing something. People are living miserable life. People are not happy. People are doing things. They're doing hedonistic, seeking act and pleasures in their life, thinking that, yo, my life is mine and there is nothing you will do. I will live the life the way I want. True, you have the freedom to do that. You can choose to live the way you want. But now the problem is, do you think you are affecting yourself only? Do you think that what you're doing is affecting you, or it's only you? Bad news is that it's not only you. You think that what you're doing when you go and actually indulge in hedonistic pleasures and acts, what you're doing is actually it's your own consequences and you will take consequences by yourself. True, you will take consequences yourself, but it doesn't stop and end with you. It continues to everyone around you in your social cycle, your family, and those to come after you. Now, I want you to start thinking in this way. Stop seeing that whatever you do starts and ends with you. So stop looking in this small lens of the self that is so deceiving, that you are free to do what you want and the consequences will be yours only, that there is no one else it will affect. Now, I want you to start thinking like this. Now, let's say you are selfish, that you are so selfish that you only care about yourself. Now, I want you to start thinking, to think this way now. You are yourself right now. Yes? Now, there is you right now. And then there is you tomorrow. Then there is you next year. There is you in 5 years. There is you in 10 years. So all those people are different people. And as a matter of fact, the way you were yesterday or the year before that is not the same person you are today. So the person you are today is a fact and is a product of the person you were yesterday. So what does that mean? It means that the person you are is a product of the person and the micro decisions you've made of the past. So the past you is the product of the present. So your present you is actually the product of the choices and micro decisions of the past self. So now when you realize this thing that most people actually don't know, is that you see that the person you want to become in years to come, 10, 5, 15, whatever time it is the person you are crafting right now. So even if you are so selfish that you only care about yourself, true, no problem, don't even give a damn about others. But now let's look even to you. You are a community. Whether you accept it or not, you are not as autonomous as you think. There is something that's pulling your strings, and this is the hard reality that most people don't come to terms with, is that yes, you have some sense of freedom, which can be an illusion. Yes, you have freedom, but no, at the same time, you don't have freedom. That whatever you do is crafted in a way that it will come back to bite you, and it will come back to bite anyone and everyone around you in a cycle, whether they know or whether they want it or not. So your choices don't start and end with you. So they can start with you, but they can continue unto others. So now let's say you decide to go into the hedonistic pleasures, and then you see, like for example, the problem that's seen right now in this in today's world, you find like there is high levels of abortion. People are doing abortion. They are dodging responsibility. Let me ask you, what makes you think that having a kid is bad? That aborting is the best thing? What makes you think that killing a baby is actually the best thing that you can do? So now you see, you've went into the hedonistic route that you've been told through the entertainment, through the media, through everything, that there is no such thing that, oh, let's add a little bit of, hedonistic pleasures up to you. Then, you are free to do what you want, and, don't take responsibilities, just live life, man. Like, you can smoke some joint, life is good. Nah, life is not that all. So there is more to life. There is more to the hedonistic pleasure. And you find that most people are not taking responsibilities. Responsibility is something that's lacking in people these days. People don't want to take responsible and don't want to lead responsible lives. So what they're doing is that they're actually escaping and actually having this hedonistic way of living, which Nietzsche said when he said this, that God is dead and God remains dead, that we've killed him. He was not meaning the God that we've killed, the God, the divine being, that we've killed what makes us whole. We've killed that part that actually makes us sane. So that's when you start saying all these things that you see these days, that the 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 climate apocalypse, the woke dogma, all these kind of things. Yes, we have that apocalyptic event and fear in us. It's always there. It has always been there. Our ancestors and everything. But now that's not all there is. This has been there. But now when you try to use this apolitic fear to drive all the power to yourself and to strip away someone's right and someone's freedom, like freedom of speech through censorship, as you've seen that most people are actually getting cancelled because of the speaking the truth. Now you are using fear to drive power and to to extract power and actually be on top. So you are using fear as your means to rise to power, which is a method you can use, of course, if you're authoritarian, but it's not the best thing to do. So you don't need to do this. There is ways to actually rise. And now you find now young people and mostly people these days, especially young people, actually demotivated. They are demoralized and they are seeking for the truth. That's why you're finding things like long form podcasts are becoming very popular because young people need the truth. They have reached that place that they've had enough of the bullshit. Now they want the real thing. Now that's why you find people like Joe Rogan, people like Jordan Peterson, all these big guys, and you find that they are big, they are popular, they are hosting podcasts that last 2 3 hours, and you find that people are watching and people are following because people are tired of the truth. I believe we're in that time where people are seeking of the truth. People want to hear the truth. They are willing and they're actually willing to invest their time to actually find what is the truth. People want to say the truth. Now, before you've heard of this saying that the truth is too hard to handle, but now I beg to differ. Now, people want the truth, however much it is. They want to know what is going on because they believe they've been lied the whole time. They believe that their governments have been lying to them the whole time. And same thing is true is that yes, there is the climate change apocalypse, but it's not that all. And you see, if you study people like you start looking into the literature, like people like Bjorn Lomborg, you find that he did an analysis that was putting things into the hierarchies where they're supposed to be, and then he find that the climate emergency is not actually that all an emergency, that there are things that we need to do, there are things that needs to be done, there are things that needs to be done before the climate change. For example, we are not going to be destroyed by the planet before than actually treating for the poor, than actually caring for the poor. Now the climate is real. There is climate change, but now climate change is not actually that important than actually feeding people who actually need the food, than actually caring as they stand, as the left people say that we stand for the poor and oppressed, when they actually what they're doing is actually, oh, let's sacrifice the few for the greater good. Now how do you get to decide who lives or who dies? Now, this is the thing that bites me in the head. It's like you say that you stand for the oppressed, for the poor, but now when do you go too far? And where is that thing of when does the left go far? When do the left go far? Because we've known that the right authoritarian exists. You've seen the fascism, you've seen the Nazism. Now, when does the left go far? Now, actually, there is literature, plenty of the literature. The one of the literature is the psychology on like left wing authoritarianism, and what they have uncovered is that there is an element of being left wing authoritarian and to having a female temperament and actually being low level low having a low verbal intelligence. So this is the predictors that they found of actually have being um, left-wing authoritarian. So there is this spirit of compassion, this spirit of caring, and but now when you use that to actually deprive people of their right on sacrificing the poor, when you're doing that, God, that is so bad. That is so bad. Now, you find that the problem that we have in this life right now and we are facing right now is actually, what do we put in the highest place? This is the same thing that Nietzsche was saying, that what takes the highest place in your life? What is the structure and the order of your hierarchical importance in your life? What takes the first place in your life and what comes after that? Now we've seen all these apocalypse, COVID, all these things. Yes, they are real. Yes, they happen, but that's not all we need to actually sit down and come to terms to what comes first. Does sacrificing the poor for the climate change, which in a million years will not be a problem and actually destroy the planet, as they say, or tendering to those who need care, lowering gas prices, make sure that people get affordable rent, make sure that people have all these things and don't die. The winter in countries where the winter is, for example, like in Canada and the US and all these European countries, instead of sacrificing the poor and actually intending to something that's, yes, it's real, but it's not that important. So we need to find what is important to us. Does sacrificing the poor for the greater good of the climate, when there is no such thing as very, very high emergency, when the real emergency is actually tendering to those who need care, those you say you need to help, those you say that are oppressed, those you say they are the poor that you're looking for, when actually what you're doing is actually killing them, and you say, oh, no problem, let's do it, it's for the greater good. Really? So now, who gives you the power, and who are you to decide who lives or who dies? Now that's the problem that you say. Now, what takes the highest place in your life? Now, what the problem of purpose is that, you to find purpose, you need to align yourself in the you need to have your hierarchical importance and structures aligned in place. So I was mentioning this part of the self, that you are not as free as you think, and you're not as that you are not as free as you think, and the way you think of freedom is such an illusion that whatever you do, you think it only starts and ends with you, when it actually continues. I was saying how all these come together, how there is you, and how you are a community by yourself. Now, how do you find purpose in your life? Now, you need to first of all take care of the self. So for you, you need to first of all recognize that you are the self, but still you are not as autonomous as you think. There is something that's pulling your string, and you need to decide and take care of yourself. So now you need to take care of your body, take care of your health, eat well, have a good nutrition, take care of your health and yourself, exercise, do things that make you a better person, start reading, start journaling, start writing, start doing and actually investing in yourself and becoming better. Then, when you are done with that, when you actually have taken care of yourself, then this is even true psychologically. Now you will be able to take care of someone. Then now what you will do, you will have a partner. Then when you have a partner, you will not only be a selfish prick that looks out for itself. Now you actually be able to tend to someone, you be able to actually care for someone else. Now that takes a lot of responsibility and a lot of growth and a lot of maturity. Now you've grown, you've taken care of the self. Now the next thing is actually taking care of someone else. Now when you've committed, and now you need to learn commitment. Now after taking care of the self, now you need to take care of someone, you need to commit to someone except from you. So now you need to have a partner. Now your partner, you need to learn how to commit to them and be there for them, and not be as selfish as you were before. Now you need to start thinking of this other person. Now when you've done that, when you've done commitment, when you've done this, now it's time to say, take more responsibilities. Now start, like, have children, have a family. Now tend to these children. Now work together to provide for these children. Now all this, when you do this, you have a very strong and beautiful family. Now when you have that, instead of start and taking your flags and waving your flags, and instead of starting taking the flags, and go and actually start going and trying to help someone. For example, trying to help someone that you've never seen, which is, I'm not saying it's something bad. Like, instead of taking a flag, waving, and saying all these things that you are going to help that oppressed person that you've never seen and heard, when you yourself can't take care of yourself, what is it that you're doing? You're actually making yourself feel good by claiming your moral status. So what you're doing is you're satisfying your narcissistic self pleasure of your moral compass. Just you're raising your moral compass that you are the person, you are the best person, and you are someone who has morals, and you are good, and you're nice, that people should come and be with you, and people should actually appreciate you. So that's what you're doing. Now, instead of going and say, oh, I'm gonna help these people, which is bad. People help. I'm gonna help people in Ethiopia, people in these countries, or people in this all over the world, people in Bangladesh, all these kind of people that you say that you're gonna help, the poor, the oppressed, all these people, the minority, saying that you're gonna help them. First of all, start with yourself. How are you gonna help someone when you can't help yourself? Now, this is a thing I've seen in young people. You find that they are eager and they're willing to find meaning, and they're willing to find something they can live and die for, and actually something they're willing to spend their life energy to and pursue it. But now what they find is empty purpose. Now you say, okay, just go there, wave your flag, man. Just go. If someone doesn't agree with you, just go wave your flag. Go protest. That's it. That's all. And stand for the oppressed. Raise your voice. Shoot your TikToks. Do all this, man. Life is so complex than that. Taking videos in TikTok can make a difference. Doing some form of long, like some long form podcast like this, or doing spreading your message can be good. But now let's not forget, before you help someone else, first of all, help yourself. You need help. I bet I bet that your room is not clean right now, and you are so disorganized in your head and in your surroundings that most of the things in your life are not going well. You don't have financial literacy. You are not leveling up in your life. You're not crafting yourself to be a better thinker and actually be more articulate with your words, learn how to think, learn how to structure your thoughts, learn how to speak. You're not doing all this. What you're doing is you're just standing. Oh, I stand for the oppressed. I stand for the minority. You're oppressing, you white supremacist, privilege, you you pricks, you all this. You start naming names. You start going after people. I was okay. Really, is that the problem, or the problem is lies with you? Why do you think you are attracted to those things, and why do you think that you have the capability to go and stand for those people when you yourself can't stand for yourself? So what you're doing is just hypocrisy, pure hypocrisy. Let's be real. Is that you're not helping? Actually, you're just satisfying your narcissistic way of being, of raising your moral compass, that you are a moral being and you are a good person in the social hierarchy and the social structure. So that's what you're doing. That's it. You're not actually making a difference. The real difference is, you really want to help the oppressed and the poor. Okay, now here's the plan. Help yourself. Find a partner. Take care of the partner, commit to the partner, commit to her, then have a family, settle down, take care of the children. Now, if you've taken care of the family, you've taken care of the partner, now you are responsible. Now you're someone who can I can trust my life, and someone else can trust their life and say, okay, you can now stand for these people who are the minority and oppressed, because you are responsible and you've done it, and you can do it because you've been responsible and you've been entrusted with something, and you've done it well. If you did it well, then you can now have a moral say and do something that Anna can actually make a difference. Now, you could have done a business. Now you can go and actually start a non-profit, help these people. These are real impact. This is what they don't tell you. Things don't start and end on the internet. Right here, when I'm speaking, when I'm doing this, it doesn't start and end here. So you need to actually go and be responsible. Find your purpose. Find what is it that you're put on this world to be. Now, I was saying about the hierarchy. Now, the way of finding your purpose is that you need to have all this hierarchy in the right order, from you to the partner to the family, then to God. And then from combination of families of different multitude, now we have a nation, now we have a country, now we have a country under one God, not Judeo-Christian God. I'm saying that the divine, the symbol of the most high, that we don't understand and we can't understand fully. So which means that we are all different and mass families of people from the self. So the self gives the it all starts with the self. So the self is good, then whatever foundation was laid on the self, the partner, the family, the children, now different multitudes of families. Now we have a state. Now we have a state under one God. Now the self was with God. The self was with God, and the family was under God. Now you find that the multitude is actually going to be one nation under God. Now, this is the thing that we're lacking. This is the thing, this is where I see that we are so divided because we tend to care for things that do not actually matter. The identity politics and sexual orientation doesn't have high importance than a person's character and who you are as a being. You are not all that is. You are not identified. You are not a person, and you are not who you are because of your race, because of sexual orientation. You are who you are because of your character and because of what you stand for and because of who you are, not because of the skin of the color you have. And now what you see is that you use this to have this apocalyptic fear to derive power. Now you find that people actually people will choose this way because they will actually find that they are narcissistic in the nature. And one of the things I found in this literature of left-wing authoritarianism that there is a high predictor in left-wing authoritarianism and characteristics, which is Machiavellianism, narcissism, psychopathy, all this. So you find that these people just want their power mongering and they just want more power, more power. Then what? Now you find yourself, we're gonna find in the situation of the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel in the Bible, same situation is that you find that they, the hierarchy of what's the most high has degenerated, and there is not that unified narrative that what is the most high that Jung was actually saying. Now you find that everything, the order was so disintegrated. Now you have different, and so the multitude disintegrated from the unified narrative. We all have different narrative that are so disintegrated. Now you find that they are looking to actually amount high to the place of that which is the most high. So now the self want to arise to where, to the level of the most high. Now what you find is that there is confusion when they go up there. There is the confusion. The most high confuse their language. Now the power that will actually become a catastrophe. Now everyone's so confused that they can't actually finish what they've been doing, and you find that there is the destruction of that which they are building. So if your foundations and the layovers of whatever you're doing and whatever you're striving for in this life doesn't align with the purpose, doesn't align with the discovery and the self mastery of the self, then everything goes wrong. All the problems we see all start with people. Now, when you analyze society, what is a society? What is the country? What is this? A society is a place that has people. So any society has people. That's the characteristic it has. They have culture. Those people have culture. Then they have families. They have families. Families have uh, children inside them. Then those children have parents. They have a mother and they have a father. Then the father and the mother, there's the self. Then you find that if there is something wrong with the self, everything goes wrong. Now, if the self is not taken care of, then whatever comes after the self will just be a disaster. So that's what you're seeing now. We are so disintegrated, so divided than before that we can't actually think our way through to actually find that which unifies us. And now you have problems that come as a result of it. Now you find people who are striving, say, how can I stay motivated and so focused on my goal? Now, the problem is not that you lack motivation. The problem is not that you are not motivated and you can never find motivation. The problem is you are so disintegrated and so detached to who you are that you don't find meaning and you don't find pleasure in doing what you do. So now the problem is not that there is no motivation and you lack motivation. The problem is the self is so disintegrated from the self. So you are so disintegrated from you. So your conscious mind and as a subconscious mind, as Jung was saying, is not attached, is not that have not yet been integrated and became one. So there is that conflicting part. So you need to discover the meaning of your life and the true meaning of existence. And you can ask me, who gives purpose? Where do you derive your purpose from? Now you find that you need to discover your purpose through the Most High. So by you integrating the conscious and the conscious power, and you attain high to the most high, or the all, then you find that's where you find the meaning, because you were not placed on this world by yourself. You're not here by an accident. Better than they tell you, you're not here by an accident. You're here for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and there is no such thing as chance or luck. Luck and chance is just a law that you don't understand, something that you don't understand or you can't fathom to understand. So you didn't come out from nowhere, and there is no such thing as luck, even in science. So what happens is that you are a result of something. There is something that you came here to do, and you should ask yourself that there is no such thing as chance. There is no such thing as a random event that happened you to make you here. That you are here for a reason, and you are unique, and not and you see, this should come to your attention, that not everyone in this world is unique. Not everyone in this world is the same. We are all unique beings. We're all unique people. So which means that you have a special place in this world to do something, to do good, to actually serve and do better. So you need to find a place within you. You need to find what makes you you, and you need to uncover that. Now, you can ask yourself, what are some signs that I might be living a purposeless life? Now, the first one is resentfulness. You're so resentful, you're so bitter of life, you're so mad at everyone that you fail to recognize, and you are not humble enough to recognize of how stupid and dumb and ignorant you are, to recognize that the problem is you. So you're shifting responsibilities to the outside world because of your low verbal intelligence, and you can think through critically in whatever you're doing, and you just throw your problem outside without actually starting from the inside and looking, what is those things that are bugging me? There is a reason why certain things bug you. There is a reason why those specific things bug you personally, because those things that bug you might not bug anyone, but there is a reason why they are calling to your conscious mind that you need to pay attention here. There is, you need to do something. Just do something. Correct that. Arrange your room. Make everything in order. Stop wasting your energy into hedonistic ways. Take responsibility. Start reading. Start becoming a better person. Read, write, think critically, strive, look for real knowledge. Find who you are, discover yourself. Go to the unconscious mind, find who you are, analyze and come to the understanding and become self with who you are, which you don't know yet. You don't know yet. High chances are you don't know who you are yet. So that's the first sign of that you're living a purposeless life. Another sign is that you're lacking motivation. You are lacking the sense of drive and sense to go forward, because how can you go forward when you don't know actually where you're going? If you don't have, you sit there and you have 20 locations to go to at once, you end up not going anywhere. But now, if you have one place you need to go to, it will be easy. You will drive to that place. Now, when you have 20 different locations you have to go at once, you end up not going, because it's too much. You can't handle it. Now, you find that the reason why you lack motivation is not because you don't have motivation and you don't have the drive. The reason the reason why you're listening to Batman motivation and all these motivation videos I've seen on YouTube, it's not because you're lacking motivation. It's not because there is something wrong with you. It's because that you have you don't have a sense, and you lost sense, and you don't have the sense of what is high and what is the most high in your life, and what is it that you need to do in this life of yours. So that's the problem, not motivation, not discipline. Just because you don't know, how can you have a direction when you don't know the destination? So you need to know the destination, then you know the directions. So purpose is the destination. What is it that you're meant to be? What is it that you need to do in this world? Then your drive, discipline, motivation, all these things you've heard of, focus, desire, drive, all these things, motivation, they're all just the route to purpose. This is the route that will take you to your purpose and make you the river and actually make you to serve other people. Now, the third sign that you're living a purposeless life is that you have no hope. You've lost hope. There is no hope. You've lost courage. You've lost the reason to live. this can end up you thinking thoughts that are not constructive, thoughts that are bad to you and bad to everyone. So that is the third sign that you're living a purposeless life. And the fourth sign is that you have no direction. Currents from the west come, they take you. Currents from the east come. Currents from the north, currents from the south come, they all take you. What do I mean? Is that you don't have what to do in some sense. Is that if it's time to party, to go to the club, sure, man, let's go have some fun. If it's time to drink heavily and drive recklessly, sure, we are in. If it's time for, for all the hedonistic pleasures, whatever comes, you go. Whatever comes, you take. That's a sign that you're living a purposeless life. And another sign is that you are not happy. You are not happy to the level that you are on right now. You're not happy with your current situation. You're not happy with life. And you always wonder, what is wrong with life? What is wrong with me? Is there something that I'm not doing right? The answer is you're living a purposeless life. Those are the signs, the major signs, not only signs, but the major signs that you're living a purposeless life. Now, you can ask me, how do I recover my sense of purpose? In other words, what are some steps I can take to start living a more meaningful life? Now, I'm going to derive this from the Jungian perspective. Now, I was reading Carl Jung book, Man and His Symbols. It's a very great book. You should actually read it. It's actually one of the last book he wrote before he died. Is that it's a special book. It's the only book he actually wrote to the mass population who didn't have writing to fellow scientists, to the literature of psychology and everything. He just wrote it to a bare reader, someone. So this was the intention of someone who influenced him to actually write this book, because he was influenced to write this book. First of all, at night, but that's a story that when you read this book, you start uncovering. But the thing in this book that happened is that he wrote it and he was analyzing man and symbol. So he talks about the dreams, he talks about the self, the conscious, and everything. So now I'm going to derive steps that can help you to start a meaningful life. As Carl Jung in his practices and in his psychology, as a doctor and journey, he actually was using some of these tools to actually treat people. And truth to be told, I'm no psychology. I don't know much. I don't know how they treat people and everything, but I'm just someone who is curious of knowledge and education and who is eager to learn and discover things. So now I've come across Jung, and from the Jungian perspective, the first thing for discovering the self and living a more meaningful life is that you need to become aware of your conscious mind. Now, what is your unconscious mind? Unconscious mind is that part of you that has desires and fears, that part that you're so scared of you, that part that has, most people call it demons, that those demons you see in you, that part that you see that's so strange, that person you see that's so strange, that is a person of your that's a glimpse of your unconscious mind. Now, this can be done through actually documenting and being one, and actually discovering more of your fears and being in peace with them, learning not to be afraid and being in peace with them. Because fear is the devil's tool. Fear is the devil's tool that he makes people go into the habit of drifting. So the fear is a tool for the devil to make you live a purposeless and unfruitful life. Now, the second part is to live a purpose and meaningful life. The second step after the first step of becoming one and actually becoming aware with your unconscious mind. The second one is you need to integrate shadow self. So what do we mean? So the shadow self is a part of the personality that we repress, as I was saying, that we deny. And integrating the shadow self involves accepting and embracing all aspects of ourselves, positive and negative. So this is why they say that a man who is aware of his dark side, and who is aware of his dragons, and who is aware of the bad he can do, the harm he can do, and can control it, is actually better off than the nice person, and the nice man who actually don't know, and actually who is always nice, because this person is actually dangerous, because he will use the spirit of compassion and he will use the sneaky, what we call the sneaky fucker. This is actually something I heard. It's in the literature of the of biology and everything and zoology. So what happens in sneaky fucker is that a male who is not dominant, or who is not dominant and who has a kind of low place in the social hierarchy and everything, will actually try to use a sneaky way to achieve mate, which will to attract and mate through the spirit of using compassion and everything, and sneaky and being nice and all these things. And as you've seen, nice guys don't actually get anything, because women psychologically, they as they grow older and as they become, they actually get good to recognize these traits of the sneaky fucker. So you can google this the sneaky fucker. It's a term that's in the literature that I've found. It's so funny the way they name it, but yeah, the sneaky fucker. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, that the man who's actually aware of his dark side and has become one with it and can control it is actually, I was saying, the man who actually is one with his dark side and has become and has learned to control it is better off than a man who can't actually control his part. So he's better off than a man who is not aware of his dark side and actually can control it. Now, those are the two steps that you need to take to start living your purposeful life. The first is that you need to become aware of your unconscious mind and integrate with it. And now the second one, you need to integrate your shadows of the part that you're so afraid to, your desires, your dark desires, your fears, all those things. You need to integrate them and you become one with them. Now, to find your purpose is going to be the best thing you're going to do. And your purpose in this life is your unique contribution to the world, as I've said before, and it is what gives your life meaning and direction. So before you know your purpose, before you uncover your purpose, you are only, something will be missing. You always wonder, I feel this sense that something is missing in my life, and what you're gonna be missing is not something that's supernatural. It's not something that's very rare, something that's very different or spatial. What you'll be missing is one thing: you'll be missing purpose. Because however much accomplishments you will make, career wise and everything, some, except if your career is your purpose or is connected to your purpose, but either way, you always feel a sense of emptiness, that you will try to fulfill it with something, that you feel something is wrong, something is not right, something, you've accomplished all these things, but there is something more that you feel that you need to accomplish and conquer. So that's the purpose of you calling to you before you go and your time is expired on this earth. So thank you for sticking around, and this is actually such a nice place to end, and see you in the next one. Ciao.